Okay, we are live on Facebook and now we are live on Instagram here. And today we're going to go over 21 questions that you should be asking or 21 questions that you should know answers to as far as advertising wise. So we're just going to dive in. The first question is, what are the biggest mistakes contractors make when marketing their services online? And a lot of the time I see, I've talked about this before, they're just advertising for a service or a product that is not enough. You make sure that you're advertising for something that is high ticket. You want to be sure that there is enough margin for you to have a profit and for you to be able to purchase the customer. So that's one of the usual mistakes. Another one, I just see people boost a lot when they should be not boosting the ads. They should be going through the back end of Facebook and running the ads that way so that you have a lot more control of what you're actually going to be advertising. The second question, how do you identify what the best advertising platform is? Google, Facebook, for a specific contractor's business. It comes down to the service that you're offering and what you actually have set up already. So let's say that you're offering like drywalling services. The chances of you getting a high volume of leads on Facebook compared to Google of people who are actually searching for that, it's going to be low. So be sure to go to Google, for example, for that. Or let's say that you're doing cleaning services. There is different actions that you can take. For example, I believe like cleaning or even like lawn care is part of Google My Business local home service ads. So I would just do that. If you're an electrician or a plumber, do that. But if you're like a landscaper or general contractor, then Facebook ads are a really good play because Facebook apparently 52,000 data points on each person. So when you have an ad that is calling out the people, it's calling out what they're actually looking for, you're going to be able to convert a lot more people. Number three, what are the key elements of high converting landing page for contractors? Number one, just make it easier for the people to opt in, to request a quote, to call you, track it properly with a Facebook pixel, standard events, API conversion for Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. Make sure you have some trust on that page as well, of like possibly reviews or case studies as well. So that would be like a few elements of high converting landing pages. Number four, how can contractors effectively compete with larger companies in their area? That's a good question. It depends where you're competing. If you're competing on Google, it would have to be being contextual, tracking properly, and then maybe even having like certain ad groups that you can outbid people. If you're on Google, for example, and you're trying to outcompete larger companies, you likely want a high impression share and a very high click-through rate so that your ad dollars get stretched more over their company, if you will. You could also do a lot of like spy work, if you will, on what they're doing. There's like spy through SEMrush, and that you can see if you get accounts what they're actually doing, how long they've been doing it for, so that you can almost duplicate successful actions. Question five. What's the best way to handle seasonal dips in demand for services like landscaping or construction? Good question too. You want to start booking ahead. You want to start taking deposits for next year, start booking those big projects in, because I'm sure you can still quote and get people in. Um, that would be a way to handle the seasonal dips. Another way could be like possibly start offering a service that you can do like in the winter time, or just make sure that you're doing big enough jobs during that season, your season, so that you can just hang out with your family during the off season. But ideally, you have like different services that you can offer both in the winter and summer and in between. Question number six. How do you track whether an ad campaign is delivering a good return on investment? Number one, is there leads coming through? Number two, are you doing walkthroughs and appointments and giving quotes to these people? And then are they closing? That's the bare basics of how you know if you are getting a return on the investment. Because sure, if you're getting messages, but then those messages don't turn into walkthroughs or appointments or quotes, then you're not going to make any money. You're just spending money to get messages. If you're just getting like video views or engagement, but then that's not turning into clients, then there's no revenue there. And if you're selling products, for example, we have this store that we help with in Mississauga. We're opening up another location in Hamilton for products for them. If we're spending $1 and that dollar is not turning into $7 or $8 in return for them, then there's no money being there. So I guess, how do you track whether a campaign is delivering good return on investment? Number one, the leads, are they converting into appointments and then deals? And then if you're like a store, is $1 turning into $2 or $3 minimum? And you just have to do the math, obviously. If you have a Shopify store, you probably know what I'm talking about. But there's the cost of goods, the customer acquisition cost, and then your margin will be there. So you just got to do the math and make sure that you can afford that customer and that there is a return there. And also, there's like 3 data points that you want to be looking at to see if there is revenue. Maybe your Google Analytics, your website, and then whatever the platform is also saying. Maybe even a CRM that gets tagged. Question 7. What role does local SEO play in conjunction with paid ads for contractors? So SEO, search engine optimization, is like the free organic part that Google gives you. And we don't do any of that because it takes like 6 months to a full year to get results. And we get judged on the results that we bring to our clients. So that's not an action we take. What we do recommend to our clients is that they hire someone off of South America or Asia, and the dollar is going to go a lot farther because these people are going to have to come in, put blogs on your site, backlinks, a lot of keywords so that you can rank up higher. Now, what role does local SEO play in conjunction with the paid ads? Maybe it plays into that role, that omnipresent role, but it's not like, oh, we need you to do SEO so that ads can work or vice versa. They can be done separately, but it's helpful for that omnipresent approach that we usually preach to our clients. Next question, number 8. How can contractors make the most out of their advertising budget, even if it's small? That's a good question too. So you want to be sure that it's consistent, that it's not like going up and then down, up and then down. You want to make sure that we can spend money consistently and getting the most out of it. Number 1 comes down to advertising in the right location, okay? A lot of people I was talking about earlier, they just boost their ads, and that, let's say you're in Toronto, it's gonna maybe show ads in like BC, and you probably don't want that because you don't do work there. So that can help you get the most out of your ad budget. Number 2, building up a list of people who are somewhat interested or show some type of interest in what you have to offer. So let's say that you have a $5 a day campaign budget, and that goes towards like a video view campaign. And so all the people who view those videos of you working or giving value or entertaining them is building them into this bucket of people who you can follow up with. And then maybe your extra $25 or $30 a day that you're spending to get called to action, CTAs, that would go towards cold audiences, and then a small percentage also towards that warm audience that you've already warmed up so that you can get the most out of these paid ads. How important are customer reviews for a contractor's online business, and how do ads amplify their impact? Well, you tell me. If you have no word of mouth, you're probably not getting that many jobs. And if you have no word of mouth, that probably means that you're not doing that good of work. So word of mouth is super important. Be sure that you're getting reviews from every single customer that you interact with. Usually the reviews should go on Google My Business, local home, like on the Google My Business profile. And you can always use those to go on your website, to post organically on Facebook and Instagram. You could also use those as ads. Just run them as an advertisement. And it almost just helps you become like a local authority, a local celebrity, someone that knows what they're talking about, they do good work, and you're part of the community, and people validate you. So um, they're very important, long story short. Number 10, why is following up on leads immediately so crucial for contractors? Again, you tell me, like when you're buying something and you're like really warm, you're hot, you really want this car, and you're looking at it, you put your information in, and then they take like 10 hours or even a few days to reach you, you're not going to be in that same state that you were in when you were sitting in front of the computer. You put in your information, and you're not going to be as warmed up. You're not going to be as focused as you are to be giving that salesman or that business owner the attention that you would want to receive. Maybe they called you like a few days later and you're driving down the road, going to the mall with your family, and you probably don't even want to talk to them. Maybe you don't even want this anymore. Hopefully you do, but maybe you don't even want this anymore. So that's why you want to talk to them immediately within like 5 minutes of the lead coming in. You want to call them, text them, email them, see what you can do for them, and then book the appointment. Because speed to lead is important. You want to be sure that you stack all the odds in your favor. So talk to them immediately. Don't wait too long. Catch them at that state that they're in, that they're ready to find more answers or something. So immediately is usually always really good. How long do we have here? 3 more minutes. I don't think we're going to get through all these 21 questions. We've got to 10. Might do a couple more. Then maybe next week we'll do a part 2, or maybe later this week. Tools and techniques. Number 11. What tools or softwares do you guys recommend for managing leads generated through ads? Okay, good question too. The first one, let's say that you're working with like Facebook lead forms. You want to be sure that that lead goes to you right away. And if you just set up a Facebook campaign with a Facebook lead form and you get a lead, you're going to have to manually go in there and see if you got a lead. And so to our previous question, that is not the system we want you to operate under, because we want a lead to come through. We want that lead to go to like some Google Sheet or to a CRM, and then you get notified right away. So a good tool so that that can happen is Zapier, zapier.com. They usually give you like 7 days for free. And then it's the glue of the internet, Jordan likes to call it. So that is the glue of the internet, Jordan likes to call it, in Zapier, and it helps us connect a lot of the apps so that we can automate things, if you will. So Zapier is really good. We also like Go High Level as a CRM. We provide our clients with like our own account so they don't have to spend so much money. And first it's like Zapier, we bring the leads over to like a Google Sheet, that's another software. It's free. Once you have that and you got too many leads there, then you'll likely want to move over to like a Go High Level CRM or HubSpot. It's also free. And then from there, that's really all you need. I mean, there will be other apps that you might use. Like I was just talking to one of our clients, Jeff. He uses Level, that Level app, as a project manager, and a few other tools. We could talk about that later, but this question is about managing the leads. Usually a Google Sheet or a CRM are pretty good. Question number 12. This will be the last question I use. How do you use analytics to fine-tune a campaign for better results? Good question too. Wow. So all these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Google, especially the ad platforms, even TikTok works like this too, or LinkedIn. They give you a lot of information, and to like a fresh mind that doesn't do advertising often, it could be overwhelming. All of these different numbers and frequencies and click-through rates and CPMs might mean a lot or might not mean anything. But we as advertisers, we know that there's only a few of those different metrics that really matter and tell us what is actually happening with the ad account. So we know that the number of leads is super important. How many leads we've actually gotten, how much each lead was. So we normally expect like between $30 to $120 per lead, depending on what the average sale will be, so that we can, or the client can make good money from that. That's like two metrics we look at right away. The link click-through rate, super important as well, so that we know if the ad is actually compelling and driving people to where we want them to go, like the creative. And then other than that, I mean, cost per lead, cost per click sometimes is important, but if those other metrics before are doing good, then I don't care what the cost per click is. If we're on Google, impression share, super important as well. Um, what else? I wish Jordan was here so he could support me a little bit. But click-through rate also on Google is important. The cost per lead is important. Cost per action is important on Google. So there's a lot of metrics, but there's a few that matter. Cost per lead, how much you've spent, how many leads we've got, how many appointments have you booked from those leads, so that we know if there's any money to be made. So I've got 12 questions out of 21. I like to keep these under 15 minutes so that we can post this on LinkedIn. And if you guys have any other questions, just let us know. We'll probably continue this live next week with the second half of the 21 questions. So drop any other ones if you guys have, and we'll talk soon. Bye.